Tamara here, nice of you to join me, and a very warm welcome to my channel. It's lovely to have you here with me today. And today's video, we're actually going to be starting a new series of videos that is coming to my channel, and it's based on the project that I did called Suitcase Full of Couture. I did that project for a swap over on my Facebook group called Memories Papers Art, and it was I swapped with another lady, so I made that up for that. But I had so much good feedback from it that I thought I'd make it as a tutorial as well. So as always, there will be a PDF cutting guide for this, which is linked in the description box down below, so don't forget to check that out. And yeah, if you do use it, please subscribe to the channel. It really does help me out. It helps my channel grow, and it helps my channel get seen more with the YouTube algorithm. So it would be really appreciated if you could. Don't forget also to hit that notification bell as well. So on with the tutorial now. As always, what I will do is I'll do a part, give you the measurements for that part, put them together, and then we'll go on to the next thing. So in this video, we're going to be putting together the suitcase. So as I said, I'll give you the measurements. So if you want to jot these down, if you maybe haven't got a printer at home, you can then just jot them down on in your paper pad. So let me move this out the way. So I'm putting my pieces together with the construction tape. Now I get these from two places. I get them from Cool Cats Crafts or My Creative Spirit. They also do the construction tape. Both are equally as good. They're both brilliant. So really, then, so you've got a couple of choices there. So yes, so I'm going to use the construction tape and glue. I use pin flare glue with when I do my construction, as well as my albums. Sometimes I change it and use Cosmic Shimmer, just depends on what I've got handy. The weight of my grey board is 2mm, which I believe is 2000 microns in weight. It's a very good weight chipboard. As you can see, it's quite sturdy. It's not if you really bent it, it would bend, but it is quite durable. So I like to use quite a heavy weight of chipboard. My measurements are geared for a 2mm chipboard, so if you use a lighter weight, you will need to have a play around with the measurements. But with this one, we do have to cut a little bit off anyway, so it would work. So let's get into giving you the measurements. So we're going to start with the suitcase covers, and these are the two sides of the suitcase. So you'll need two of these, and this measures 10 by 8 1/4, and they both are the same measurements. So then we come on to the short sides, and you'll need 4 of these, and this is going to measure 8 1/2 by 2 1/8. Okay, and they're the short sides. So if you label them short sides, and then you need 4 of these as well, which are your long sides, and that's going to measure 10 by 2 1/8. Okay, so that's the only measurements we're going to need. So you want to put 2 long sides and 2 short sides with one of your covers, and just put that to the side, and we're going to just work on one one part of the suitcase at once, because they are both the same, because they're going to meld together. So how I do it is I'm going to go around my base, sort of starting with the long side and then going to the short side and then go around that way, because I've cut the short sides a little bit longer than my actual size of my cover. Now that's going to allow, because we need a little bit of extra space on the bottom to fit our album in, I've actually gained that by making our sides fit to the side of this and not on top of it. Okay, so we're going to fit it to the side more so than on the top, because then that gives us another, say, 4 mil in width, which then allows us to have that tiny bit of a bigger album. So what will happen is the long side is going to fit perfectly along that long side, and then your short sides are the ones that are going to fit up. They're going to butt up to this edge here. And then once we've come round, you will find that you may have sort of 1/8 of an inch sticking out, but once we've done that, we can just trim that off, and then we'll cover that with our construction tape and you won't know. So let's get going. So while that's there, I'm going to put this on. So half on, half off, okay, your chipboard. When you've got that in place, just burnish that bit down, and then we're going to trim that construction tape to the edge of the chipboard. Okay, so you've hardly got not got any overhang. I'm just going to take that bit off. Now what you could do is you could just mitre that corner in a little bit. Okay, so getting your glue, we're going to put our bead of glue just along here. Okay, so where that chipboard meets the construction tape. Let me just unclog my glue. And so using the chipboard as your guide, just rub that along the bottom there, and then that's going to stick. It's just going to give us an extra adhesion. So we're going to put that on as nice, so you've got it level with the two corners of your cover. Okay, push it along like so, so that it sticks. And then what I'm going to do is, can you see here I've got this bit of construction tape hanging over. We're going to just very gently push that over so that it sticks to that other piece of chipboard, and just burnish that down. Okay, so then what you get then is your right angled piece of construction tape that's then holding that into place. So now we're going to do the short side, and just push that up a little bit. And we're going to do exactly the same, just roll out a length. Just leave that there. Chop that off. Now what I'm going to do is, I don't want this to go over that corner, so I'm going to put it so that it is basically just on where your cover starts. I'm just going to put it on there. Now I need to just push this up a little bit and just open that out and just put that on a little bit more. Okay, like so. Burnish that bit down. Cut that tiny bit off. And keep these little bits here because they're going to come in handy for when we get the sides up. Now I'm going to miter that corner and miter that corner just a tiny bit. Okay, get your bead of glue. Oop. Along there, and a short side. Oh, and also you'll need a bead of glue on the edge here of this long side here, like so. Okay, and then we can, so what then happens, let me turn it up, then you can see. What's going to happen is this short side is going to fit onto this long side here. So it's going to cover that edge. And for some unknown reason, this is shorter. Why is that shorter? No, it's the same. Oh, I must have picked up the wrong one. That's fine. So it's going to fit on to that edge. So I'm just going to move it down so that I can see what I'm doing. And I'm going to push that over. So this edge is going to be flush, and you're going to have a little bit sticking out of the other side. So if I pull that over again, you will be able to see. So that's my short edge, and then can you see there, that's where that edge is, and it's virtually sitting flush. I'm just going to push that along a little bit because I want that to be as flush as possible. And down. Now what you also need to bear in mind is when you've got your tops here, so where your two pieces join, you want them to be straight as well so that they are level. Okay, so okay, right, so once you're happy, and that's exactly where you want it. Okay, that's where I want it. Just move that up a bit. Push that over so that you're going to create that nice bond. And then what we'll do with this corner here is we will just put a piece of construction tape over just to keep it into place. Now remember to keep this edge here, your top edge here, as level as possible, because what will happen if it's not level is you'll end up with a gap between your suitcase, and we don't want that. So that's nice and level. Okay, so push that in. And then we're going to go back onto our long piece, and then our long piece is going to fit on there. Now you will have some overhang with this. It will overhang, but as I say, don't worry too much because we will cut that off. I'm just going to move you up. I feel as though I'm not, there we go, I'm working too much here. So don't worry about that too much. So getting your long piece again, and I'm just going to get a nice long piece again. Put your construction tape up to this edge here. Okay, let's move that up, push that on. I'm going to just move this out so that I can make sure I've got it on both sides. There we go, like that. You can cut this bit off here, and then we can clip that off, and then just miter that corner as well, like so. And you need a long piece, and you're going to put your bead of glue along that edge, and you're also going to put your bead of glue along one of these edges here, because that's going to sit onto that short piece. Okay, like so. And again, get them as level as you can at the top. Once you're happy, we can go ahead and push that over. Right, so stick that down. And then what I'll do is I'm going to cut off this part now. Or am I going to, well no, I'll wait actually. I think I'll wait until that's a little bit more drier. So I'll add a nice long piece of construction tape to keep that in place. Make sure I've got that in the right 2 holes. Yes. Okay. Keep that now nice and straight. Okay, last one. Okay, just reel that out, chop that down, and again just get that so that the covers are covered with your tape. And this one I'm just going to bring down and just miter that bit off. I'll need to take just a little bit more off of that. That is just a bit too proud. Okay, take that off. There we go. And then do the same on this one, just miter this edge. Okay, get your glue, and on these ones, once you get to this edge piece, we're going to put our glue, on these edges here, because the last piece is going to sit above those, across those pieces, so it's going to sit like that. Okay, and hold that in place like so. And again, you will have a bit of overhang on this. It was easier to do it that way than go into different measurements and things. I just thought it's easier to just trim that little bit off once it's dried. I mean, that's now stuck, so I can put this one on and then hopefully keep that in check. There we go. It's now sticking. So once you get to this part, so let me take this off. I can cut that off. Now what you could maybe do if you wanted is to draw a line. I'm not going to bother. I'm just going to just trim off. So I'm using, this is my guide, and I'm just going to trim that excess bit off like that. And then get your tape and just push that tape on, and that will then keep that side stuck while it's drying. Okay, and again with this edge, like so. Ooh. just to keep them together. And then I'm going to cut that one off in a moment. I'm going to let that dry and then I'll cut it off. But then that is our album, and I've got my edges and my corners nice and flush, so that when we come to put the top bit on, hopefully we're going to get it so that we've got no gaps in between. So that's one done. So we now need to do that exactly the same with the second. So if you want to rewind the tape, rewind the tape, that's really old, that's showing my age. If you want to rewind the video back to the beginning.
Sorry, I can't do that in that app.
Then you can see, you can then go over exactly the same what I did, but I'm going to do a time jump, and then this one will be done. And there we have 2 boxes ready and waiting to decorate. Now before we do that though, we need to trim off our excess pieces off our box here. So again, as I said, we're going to use the long side as the guide and just trim off that excess piece like so. That's it. And if you've not, you probably need a little tiny bit more. There we are. And then you can put your construction tape on, just to keep that together if it's come apart again, which it did. Ooh. Just push that down. There we are. Push that over, push that up, so that you remember you've kept that top line as straight as possible. So that's one box. Now this one may be a bit wet, but we'll try it. No, I can get that off. There we are. So put then the double-sided, I keep saying that, your construction tape just over that, just to keep that side together, a bit like a clamp really. And then we've got this end piece here, like so. And then just get your construction tape just to keep that together while the glue dries, like that. And then when you put them together, you should hopefully have 2 nice fitting boxes that haven't got any gap. Now I'll show you ones that I've done. That one. Just a little bit there, but I can move that up because it's not yet dry. So just move that down. Okay, so I'm just going to move that down a little bit, just so that we've got that nice straight edge at the top. There we go. Pull, and then that should keep that in place. And then we've got some nice straight lines in between. If I showed you one I did earlier, can you see here? You can't see so much, but can you see the difference where that is open? It's because I haven't got my edges at the top level. I had some that were just sticking out a little bit, so that's why it makes it doesn't close properly. So as you can see there, you can see that gap there, and then that hasn't really got a gap. That's quite nice and straight. Okay, so the next thing what we need to do is edge our edges and edge our corners. Now you can do it one or two ways. You can do it where you edge the top in your construction tape, or you can go side round like so, but because we've got that along the bottom, I'm just going to go around the top. So to do that, how I do it is I'm going to start on a long piece, and I'll start in the middle. So you'll put half on, half off of your board. Can you see? Like so. And I'm going to just go around the box. Okay, just like so. And until you get to the bottom, and then just trim that bit off, and then that can just overlap it just a tiny bit. Now for the corners, I'm going to do a little mitre, so I'm going to cut in at an angle to one corner and then turn over and cut into the corner on that side as well, and you cut off that tiny bit of like a triangle. So I'm going to do that all the way round. So once you've done that, you can go around and just push over that construction tape onto the grey board, so it goes over the top and then down the other side, and then that's called edging our grey board, so that we don't need to cover it in paper or cardstock around the tops. So that's one side. Now we've also got to do the corners, and they are just the same. You just put your construction tape on. I'm going to do two at a time, like so. And then just burnish that down. Now what I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to push that over so that it sticks to the other side. Okay, and then you create like a little funnel type thing here, where it I didn't mean to do that, where it kind of like you create a tiny little fold. We're going to cut down that fold at an angle and cut down that fold and create another angle. Pull that off, and then we can push that over. Please excuse my dog barking. He will be quiet in a moment if you can hear him. I do apologise. Okay. Come down here and just snip into that, pull that piece off. Can you see it's like a triangle? Push it down and over. So you're bringing it round to the back and then round to the front. So we do the same on this one. Push that over the side so you've got a nice right angle there. Clip in, and take that out. So you've got your triangle out, and then the same on this one. Clip in, and then you've got that piece, that triangle piece out, and then just wrap them round to the inside of your box and then to the top there, like so, and it creates a nice corner. Don't forget to burnish these down really well, and then you get all the air bubbles out. Okay. Like so. So on to the last two corners. And then once you've done that, you've done your box. Now again, just go round and check that you've got everything all burnished down. And if you use your bone folder, I can find mine, you will be able to burnish all them creases out. Like so. And I do go around the tops as well, just to square them off. So I'm going to do another time jump now, and I'm going to go ahead and edge this one, and then when I come back, okay, I've got my two boxes all ready, prepared now. So hopefully you've got yours. So to do our hinge, now I'm going to use the construction tape to do the hinge. Now if you've got sort of metal hinges at home, you could use those as well. I have had a box that I've done that with, but just to use the construction tape method, it is quite easy. So I'm going to use the back of my desk here and my tummy as a resist, so that I can make sure I've got these two. I'm going to just move you forward just so that you can see that bit hit there. So that's my two boxes there. So I've positioned them so that they are level and in line, and I'm just adding a little bit of pressure on the box here so that I can close this gap here between the two boxes. So make sure you've got it in line as much as possible. And then using your construction tape, I'm going to just take out quite a big bit and chop that off. And I'm just going to have a straight edge. Now you could have, you could miter these ones, but I'm going to keep it as a straight edge, because I'm going to put this up to that edge there, so that I'm actually right virtually on that edge. Let me bring you down a little bit, and then you may be able to see. There we go. So move that over just a touch so that you can see what I'm doing. So I'm adding my pressure on so that my boxes are secure. Let me just take this tape off, and my construction tape is going over both boxes. So I've got some holding in those lines there, like so. There we go. There we are. Push them down, so that once you've got that half on half off of both those boxes, push that down, and then that's going to cement those two boxes together. Okay, like so. Now if you want to add another one, you could, but I'm just going to turn that over, make sure that is exactly how I want it. And I couldn't have got that any better. I think that is a tiny bit out, but not, I'll bring you back up again, not a great deal, because once I get everything on, they will sit kind of quite perfectly, like so. Okay, so turning it over now towards the back. So this isn't the bottom, should I say, of my box, and you can just see through there where I've got that construction tape. Now I am going to put another piece of construction tape just along this edge here. Now this one I am going to miter those corners just to add a little point, and that point is going to go right to the edge there of that gap, and I'm just going to push that along so it's half on, half off the box. I'm going to turn this round and just miter that corner as well, sorry, that corner, that edge, so I've got a nice point there, and then just burnish them down, and then we can turn that round, turn it over, and then that's our two boxes together. And that so what I would suggest now we need to do is you need to get yourself some craft card, and I'm going to just use some, I've got some quite thick craft card here. I think this is a 300 GSM. It's quite a thick craft card. It's an Anna Marie Designs craft card. I do love it. I've got 12 by 12 size in this, but if you've got A4, that works brilliantly. So any craft card that's quite a good weight. Okay, right, so I've got myself all set up now and raring to go. So you'll need to get your craft card strips now. Now these I've cut at 1 3/8 by 12 inches. Now if you haven't got a 12 by 12 cardstock, in your craft card, then you can use A4. It's no problem. Just maybe cut a couple more strips just to compensate for that. So once you've cut them, you will need to score them. Now I don't know if you can see my score lines there. So I've scored them at 3/8 and at 7/8. Okay, and then what we need to do is fold them all over. So you fold the 3/8 inch one in like so, and then fold the next one. Now the next one is slightly bigger. Now that is because that's going to go inside our strip, and then the 3/8 one is going to go over onto the top like so. So it's going to fit on our box like that. Okay. Okay. Once you've folded and scored all of your strips, 1 2 3 4 5 6. I've only got 6 there, but I will do an extra couple, but I would do about 8. Well, what I did is I actually cut out 9, and then I've used one as my template. So I've measured a half, because that is an inch. So I've measured a half to half of that, so it's 1/4 of an inch, and done a mark. Done a mark this side again at 1/4 of an inch, and then drew my line down, and then I marked out every 2 inches. So I then just put a mark, so at 2, at 4, at 6, at 8 and 10, and then took my pokey tool and then just marked through on that line like so. So then what I'm going to do is use that as my template, and then that way I don't have to go ahead and mark all of them down. I can just use this template to mark my holes, so that should work out a lot quicker. Okay, so then that's all of those done, apart from those ones there. So now comes to the messy part. Right. So I've got some different distress inks here, depending on what you've got. We've all got distress inks. If not, you could use paint. If you've had some brown paint, that would work, which would look really, really nice. But I've got some of the old distress stains. These are really good for things like this. It really makes it quick and easy. So all I do is I am just going to mark, I'm just going to put it onto my card like so, and you can see it's really quick. If I was going to do the distress inks, I would put the distress ink onto my mat and then water it down. That way you would be able to then get it onto your card. Probably would take it a little bit longer, but if you want to use the stain, the spray, again, that works really well, like that. And then I'm just going to use, you could use a what they called, the little foam pads. You could use those just to you know, get it onto your paper. So just going to do these ones, and then what I'll do is I will dry it, because it needs to be dry before we put the next step on. So that's them done. I just need a bit there, which I haven't got. Just need to make sure I've got it all on. A bit of a messy job, but hey, I like to get messy. I don't normally get very messy on my channel, do I? So it's nice to do a little bit of something that's a bit messy. So once you've got them all done, then you just need your heat gun, and you'll need to dry them off. So let me turn mine on. Once you've done your strips and you've coloured them, you can use something called texture paste. It's from Finnabar, and it's a clear crackle, and you can get the most beautiful crackles with this. Now what's really good about this is you can heat set it. You might not get as many cracks as you would do if you let it to dry naturally, but it will crack nonetheless. If you haven't got that, you can use the Ranger Rock Candy, the crackle that they do as well, but there must be others on the market as well, but these are the ones that this is the one I'm going to be using today. So I'm just going to use a palette knife, and I'm just going to put it on quite liberally. So not a lot. You don't want it so it's caking it. You just want it so that it's just sort of lightly touching the surface. So just make sure that it's on. Now you don't have to do this. This is just a nice way to give you a leather effect, which is quite good. So I'm just going to, and because I've used distress inks, your gel, your crackle will pick up some of that colour underneath, but for some unknown reason this doesn't make it any difference, because all you want is that shine. You just want that shine that looks like crackle. It's just so that it's going to look a little bit like worn leather. Once you've done that, you can then break out your heat gun again, especially if you're using this texture paste, because you can heat set it, but you want to waft it over. You don't want to end up with big bubbles. Okay, I've gone ahead and put our brads into 5 of our little strips, but I've left 3 blank. Now these 2 here that we didn't put any holes in, they're going to become our handles, and then I've just left one here just so that you can see how I close them up. So unfortunately, with my template that I did, this one moved just slightly, so I'm just going to have to make the holes just move over just slightly. So I tend to put a line of double-sided tape just down the holes on the back, and then I'll take that backing off, and then with my brads I'm just going to poke them through the holes, and then we'll open the legs at the back. And one there. Okay, so just open the legs up, and then the legs are going to stick to that double-sided tape that you've put down. Now with these I might just, I've got a little hammer, so I might just hammer these legs just so that they make them a bit more flatter. Then getting our glue, hopefully, yay, it's not too bad. I'm going to put the longest side is going to go down first, so I'm just putting a bit of glue along that edge just to help, and then you just wrap it round and push it down like so. And as you've hammered those legs down flat, you should then get quite a nice flat line. So double-sided tape again, and that's just going onto the other side of that glue tab that's going to flip over and secure it. I've just burnished that down with my fingers. Take that off, and I'm again just going to put a little bit of glue just to help, so that it just helps, and then just wrap that around. So again, just do the same with the handles and push them down like so. But obviously these ones haven't got any of the brads in, so it should be a bit quicker. So I'm going to put double-sided tape on all 3 of these sides. Burnish that down. I might as well do the other one as well. Okay, I've picked my paper. Now I've gone with the background patterns and solids from the Alice Tea Party from Graspit 45. So I'm going to do just wrap around my 4 sides. So the pattern paper measurement for these is going to be, for the short sides, it will be 8 1/4 by 2 inches, and you'll need to cut 4 of those. And for the long sides it will be 10 inch by 2 inch, and again you'll need 4 of those. And we're just doing the outside edges, we're not doing the inside, because they will be a slightly different measurement. Okay, we'll go with, we'll change our mind, and I'll go with the checkered one, because it's a non-directional one. It doesn't matter how I cut it. So I'm going to do my long ones first. So I'm going to just cut at 2, and then what I'll do is I'll cut the ends off last. So I'll need 4 of those. Well, I'll just need to cut, actually just cut these all into strips of 2, and then we can go ahead from there. So 2, and then this last one I'll just get possibly just under. So I'm going to leave that one because that's the smaller one. So I'm going to cut this at 10. So I need 4 of these at 10. I'll just double check to make sure they're going to fit nicely. And yes, they do. So that's 1. And then this last one we need to cut at 8 1/4. I'll do this one at 8 1/4. And then I'll just need my other sheet. And I'll just cut 2 of these off. Let's go with 2. And then put that one away. Then we can go with the 8 1/4 and 8 1/4. Now I am going to ink these edges, and I'm going to save these squares and rectangle bits because I've got an idea of what I might want to do with those. So now you want to decide whether you want to go brown or black with your outside edges. I'm going to go with the round espresso just so that it ties in with my leather pieces. So that's all my edges inked. So we have to then put these all on now before we can add our leather pieces. Now I am going to turn on my glue gun. Okay, so getting just your normal glue. If you want to use a bit of double-sided tape, you could do. It might help with the sticking of it now if you wanted. I'm just going to go with my glue. And you could alternate the backing of this, so you could have this nice flower paper on a couple of the sides if you wanted. I'm just going to keep it all the same and be a bit more symmetric. So push that down and around. That's that. Just push them down, move that over just a tiny bit. Okay, so that then is our box covered, and it's already starting to look very, very nice. Okay, what I'm going to do with the front and back of our box, I did say that I wasn't going to cover it until the last minute, but I made a slight error in that when I put my corners on, they're going to be on and I'll not be able to put my paper on. So I've had a quick look through my paper pads, and I'm going to use one of the actual papers and then one of the patterns and solids, so that I make a sort of a not a pocket as such, but I make a division on my front and cover. Now the reason I'm doing that is that I'm trying to make the most of my papers. So I didn't want to use these 2 sheets on my front on my box. So I've kind of split it so that I can use half of one on one side and half on the other, if that makes any sense. So I'm going to cut this down to about 4.5, no, I'm going to go 5 inches on either side, so 5 inches by 10, and then we'll do the same with the solids, and we'll do that on both sides. So let's just get this in. Now remember, this is a directional paper, so remember to get the correct measurement on the correct side. So I'm going to go this at, what did I say, 5. You could go with it being about 4.5. Actually, let's go 4.5. So 4.5 across on one, and then 4.5 again. And then that leaves us still this bit here that we can maybe use on one of our tags inside. So 4.5 by 10. And again, that gives you a nice tag piece there. So 4.5 by 10. Like so. And then these are going to fit onto our front of our box like so. And then what have we got left? So I'm actually going to cut this at the same. I'm going to cut the next one at about 4. Or you could do it a bit less. You could go with it at 3 and... No, we'll go 4 because then we can push it underneath. And then we'll put that one onto the top. So put them to the side. Put that to the side. And we could go with this one, or we could go with a different... We could go with the blue to go with the outside edge, but I quite like this, so let's go with this at, what did I say, 4. I might go 4.25 and 4.25, and again some nice pieces there. By 10. By 10. Okay, so that's the pieces cut out. Oh, you will actually need, while I think of it, some of your cardstock, and that needs to be cut at, you can either go with 1/4 or half. I'm actually going to go with 1/4. And I've done that the wrong way. It needs to be this way. So you need to do 10. So 10 inches by 1/4. And you need 2 of those. Like so. Move them out the way. And bring in our box. Make sure you've got it up the right way, the way you want it. So you can have it, this is your front, or this is your front. It doesn't really matter. I mean, if you wanted to, you could have it this way. You could have it lengthways and have your album going acrossways, so that you put your album in that way, so you have more of a portrait album rather than a landscape. So that's something to think about. So as usual, I'm going to ink the edges. So I'm going to start with the top bit first. No, sorry, I'm going to start with the bottom bit first, because that's going to go underneath our nice pattern paper at the top. Okay, quite a bit on there. Make sure I've got it the right way. Okay. Push that down. Just noticed there I've got a little bit of white showing, where I've not, just down here I had a bit of white showing from the edge of my paper on the short side, so I thought I'd just quickly do that. And this is going to go over the top like that. Now you could make this into a pocket if you wanted to. You didn't have to have it as a closed thing. Like so. Just that over so that all looks like it's one paper. And then getting your black piece of cardstock, just put a little bit of glue. Now you can either use glue or you can use double-sided tape. I've got my glue out, so I'm going to use the glue. And then just cover that join up like so. And burnish that down. And that's your front one cover done. So go ahead and do the same with the other side. I'm going to do a time jump. Okay, so that's both my sides now covered. Now that's my outside of my box all decorated. So now we can then go and add our corners that I said about. Now I'm not going to have the... So this is going to be my top, so I'm not going to have my brads, if I can, facing the top. I'm going to have that, or am I? Yeah, no, I might have it like so, because that looked quite nice. So with my corners, I've only got 2 holes where my brads go in. If you've got different corners, then obviously they're going to look different. Now these ones are about... very nearly an inch in length from corner to corner here, just under an inch. So you don't want anything any bigger than that, otherwise you're not going to fit your faux leather strips down. So with these corners, all I do is you can either hold it in place and use a pencil and just mark where the holes are. That's one way. Or you could just go through the holes with your pokey tool with it in place like so. And then that way you know you're going to get a nice tight fit. I'm just going to open that out a little bit more, so that my brads are definitely going to go through. So I've opened it out, and get your, so it goes that way, get your brads, just poke those through. Now I'm going to make sure that my brad legs on these are facing upwards, and you will see when I turn it round and in, you'll see that when I come to open my brads, my legs are going to go along the joins and not the other way round. So I don't know if you can see them. Don't worry about that one there, that's just that's a stray one. That's there we go, take that off. So you can see where I've got them. So my legs are going to open out once this side and then the other, and they're going to go down the joins and not across the join. It just makes it easier when you're coming to cover the inside of your box. So again, just push them open. I'm just using this pokey tool to open them out. And as you can see, they've opened out along the join and not against it. So go ahead and put all your corners on. Now I'm not putting corners on the inside of my box. They're only going to go on the outside because I want this to have a nice straight tight gap for when we put our closures on. So go ahead and do that on all of them. Okay, I've now completed all my metal corners, so they're all done. I've got my closures out. Now I'm going to use two. You could, which they will be included if you buy the embellishment pack that goes with this. So I've just got two here. Now again, it's up to you how you want them the width wise on your album, sorry, on your box. Measuring down from the edge of the suitcase to 1.5 inches. So I'm going to measure down, so the edge of the clasp is going to start at your 1.5 inch mark. Do that on both sides. So that's 1.5 there. There we go. So I'm going to put them together. No, well actually I'm going to do one first. So I'll bring you down for this so that you can see. Maybe, hopefully, I'm coming down very slowly, a bit faster. Okay, so that's my mark. I don't know if you can see that there. I'm going to put my first one on. So put the little knobbly bit on first, and then we'll put the clasp on after. So get it lined up so it's on the edge of your grey board, and just put your pencil marks in, and then we can push our little holes through for our brads. Be careful of this because you don't want to rip through it, so I'm just being very careful. Okay. That one's through. So, and then we can put the other one in. There we go. So we'll put the other one in. Get them as nice and level as you can. Make sure the brad legs open the right way. So that is the one side done, and so I'll just move that over a little bit. There we go. There we are. So I'll bring you up because, well actually no, you can stay there. So what I'm going to do is I've put my clasp on, okay, and I'm just going to slightly pull it so that it creates a little bit of a resist on the knobbly bit there, and I'm going to get them as even as I can here. Okay, so put my pencil marks on, and I'm going to start with one first. I'm going to put one hole in first, so out, and then we'll do the next one once this one's in. So that's there. Get your brad in, make sure it opens the right way. Push that through, just open that out. Okay, so get that all nice and straight again, and then you can, because where now my pencil mark had been, it has moved a little bit. There we go. Down. Up there. So lift that up. Okay. So let me bring you up. So that is one clasp done. So I'll bring you up because you don't really need to see us do the next one. Because it is exactly the same principle as that. Okay, we have now, I've now put our clips on, our closures. I had a bit of trouble because I had to just realign these, because I had my box had kind of gone a bit skew with, so I had to realign them. But as you can see, they are fully functioning and they do work. And open up and then lock, and they just look so effective, they really do. So now we've got our fake leather straps to put on. So I'm going to start with it coming up this way, because I'm going to go across here, and then this is going to be my top. And remember, if you've got your paper, make sure you put your handles with your paper facing the right way. So with this, I am going to put it as near to this edge of this metal corner, and use that just as my guide. Because that's a 1 inch, that's just under 1 inch, I know that I'm basically going to be roughly in the middle. So I'm just going to start at the bottom here. Now, so I put on my glue gun earlier, so I'm just going to use my glue gun just to go sort of up here. But what I may do is just add a little bit of double-sided tape as well. So I'm just taking off that double-sided tape. Now, I did have a pokey tool. Okay, take that off. And as I said, I'm going to start at the bottom here, because that's my, and I know this is a bit of a bigger glue gun, but I wanted it because this is quite hot, so it will hopefully stay hot for a while. Let me just push that down. He's a bit unpredictable. Come on. Isn't this always the way? There we go. Just be careful you don't burn your fingers. And then when you've got it into place, there we are, bring it up and then bring it round. So you just need to bend that around. And again, my glue, hot glue, has decided to dry. I'll just take that bit off there. Now, if you've got any seepage, you can use your heat tool just to melt that, so that you can get rid of any glue seepage that you may have. But you don't need to use just hot glue. You could use your wet glue as well. I just wanted it something so that it was sort of stuck now. So push that down, and that's bent over like that. So then we come back with our next piece. Now we're going to butt that straight up and bend. I'm going to bend that over, because then this is going to be my top part. Okay, so that's going to be for there, and then this is going to become my handle piece here. So what I've actually done is I need to fold that over, because what's going to happen is this brad here I'm going to take out like so, if it will come out, and it will, and I'm going to punch a hole through that brad that I've just put in, punch it through, if I can get that, like so, and then put this brad back in, like so. Okay, turn that over. Okay, and then that forms the little handle bit for where you're going to put then the D-ring. Now what I should have actually put my D-ring in before I close that brad out. Silly me. So put your D-ring in and get your brad in like so. I will get in all fingers and thumbs. There we go. Right, so that's one. So put your D-ring in, then push them down, and then that will go into the bottom there. That's it. Push them in. So then that is that there. So I'm going to put my glue on, but I'm going to be really quick. Now I'm not going to glue this part here just yet. Sorry, I'm not going to glue this part here. I'm just going to glue down there. So I'm going to run a quick line of hot glue, and then get it so that it is actually in place, like so. Push it down, and then that's then your one side. So you've got to do that then with all four sides of your box. So to get the correct length in the loops for your handles, I measured down 2 inches and then folded on that 2-inch line. That then should give you an accurate length for your loops for your handles to go onto. There, so fold it over, and then that I need to just take that brad out. The thing is, you can't do this beforehand because you need to really do it as you're going. And then we've got our handles. Before we put the handles on, we're going to just use some of the handle strips to just piece together the two parts that we're short on the bottom of the box. So what you need to do is just take an estimate. So what I've done is I've just used the edge of the case as my guide, and then I've actually cut my piece slightly bigger than the actual side so that I can cover that edge of the strip of cardstock that's coming up. So it just tidies that edge along. So I'm just adding some hot glue now just to stick this in place. And as you can see, I am a little bit short on the brads on this one, but because it was the bottom of the case, I wasn't going to worry too much. But if you're at all worried, then I would put your brads through before you obviously stick it down. So now I'm just going along and just taking off all those whispers of glue, and I'm just tidying up those edges with some of the distress inks. I've already done one of the handles for my suitcase, but this is how I did it. So the two ends of the handle piece that you've got left, you need to just bend those two ends in on each other like so. This is what's then going to fit into the D-rings and be held in place by our brads. And then our brads are going to then secure through our D-rings like so. So first things first is to just poke a hole through for your brad to go through. And because I'm going through quite a few layers now of paper or card, it is getting a little bit trickier. So let's just push that through like so. Okay. Oh, don't attach them yet. So then get your brads and just put that through the two holes like so. Eventually, let's just make that hole there a bit bigger. So that can go through. Push that down. So that's one, and then the other. Hoping I've got these roughly the same, and I haven't. That one needs to be a little bit shorter. There we go, that's better. So just shorten or lengthen that a little bit. There we are. Put your brad in, push those legs open at the back like so. Now we've secured our handles, we need to now secure the D-ring part of the strips to our case. So it's about a 3/4 of an inch measurement between where the corner is and where the loop starts on that handle. And all I've done is used hot glue. And then that then is your box ready for your album. So I really hope you've enjoyed this video. I've certainly enjoyed making the box. It's something different, this suitcase. It's something completely different, and it's a nice supply. It's a nice display box that you can keep your albums in. Now, so thanks again for watching. I really hope you've enjoyed this video. Please subscribe if you would like to, and don't forget to hit that notification bell, which will be up in that top corner there. That way you will be notified every time I upload new content to my channel. Don't forget to come and follow me on all the social medias. As always, all the links will be in the description box down below, as well as the link to my Amazon storefront, where I have listed a lot of the supplies that I will be using in this video. If you would like an embellishment kit for the album, so it's all the metal embellishments, again, just give me a message for that, and I will give you the details for those. So thanks again. Hope you have a nice day wherever you are in the world, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.